August 3rd, 2011, Wall Street was buzzing with excitement. Traders were optimistic about Dendrian Pharmaceuticals, convinced that the upcoming press release would deliver great news. Many were going long, betting that the stock would soar, but one man was doing the opposite. At exactly 3:56 p.m., Vitaly Korchevsky, a church pastor, made a bold move. He bought 1,100 put options, betting that the stock would crash. 4 minutes later, the market closed. 1 minute after that, the press release became public, and traders eagerly scanned the document. But instead of the good news they were expecting, it revealed something shocking. Dendrian's flagship drug had failed to meet sales forecasts. Wall Street went into chaos. The stock plummeted by 67%. The next day, traders were losing millions, struggling to recover their losses. But not Vitaly. While others panicked, he sat back and watched his bank account grow. $2.4 million were made from this single trade. It wasn't luck that Vitaly had, it was access to a private server, an underground gold mine that held press releases of major publicly traded companies. Having access to these releases wasn't special, but having them before everyone else, that was extremely profitable. By acting on the information hours in advance, traders in the network could make millions without breaking a sweat. This wasn't luck, it was part of one of the largest financial hacking schemes in history. Early 2010, Ukraine was a hotspot for tech talent. It was filled with skilled programmers, ethical hackers, and cybersecurity experts who were often hired by big global companies. But for Ivan Turchynov, a smart 27-year-old with top tech skills, a regular tech job wasn't enough. Ivan wasn't looking for a normal job or to slowly move up the career ladder. He wanted to get rich, and he wanted it fast. In Ukraine, a cybersecurity expert might earn up to $2,000 a month. That's okay, but it wasn't the lifestyle Ivan dreamed of. He knew that in the United States, he could make up to $8,000 a month doing the same job. That's 4 times more than in Ukraine. This wasn't just about money for Ivan, it was about living a life where he didn't have to worry about the bills or expenses. Ivan saw the stock market as the ultimate get-rich scheme. But there was a problem. To make big money in the stock market, you need a lot of cash to start with, and Ivan didn't have that. More than that, successful trading takes a lot of know-how and patience, and Ivan was short on both. He was a hacker, not a stock trader. Ivan became obsessed with making money fast. He noticed that the real winners in the stock market were those who had insider information. Politicians like Nancy Pelosi and her husband, they knew things about companies that no one else did, which helped them make the right moves at the right time. Politicians seemed to always know what stocks to pick. They had the secret backdoor that gave them an edge over everyone else. Ivan didn't have the connections that big politicians or CEOs had, but as a hacker, he knew how to find his own way in. He didn't need to play by the rules, he could change them. So, he decided to carve his own backdoor into the financial world. And that's when he set his sights on something that no one had thought of before: newswire companies. Newswire companies like BusinessWire, PR Newswire, and MarketWired are crucial yet often unnoticed players in the corporate world. These platforms are where publicly traded companies store their scheduled press releases, earning reports, merger news, major announcements before it's officially released. This scheduled sharing is crucial because a single announcement can send a company's stock skyrocketing or tumbling down. The role of these newswire companies is to level the playing field by securely storing upcoming announcements and releasing them simultaneously to everyone on the official date. They prevent any unfair market advantages, guarding against any illegal insider trading. But for Ivan, early access to this information was like having a device that could tell the future. With this data, he could predict market movements with stunning accuracy, placing him several steps ahead of other traders. This wasn't just an advantage, it was a game changer, potentially more profitable than the insights politicians like Nancy Pelosi are rumored to have. So, he and his partner turned their attention to the newswire companies. If they get access to these servers, it will be their gold mine. But how exactly would they hack into the servers of such massive, high-security companies? To access the company's servers, Ivan and his partner used a method called an SQL injection. Now you might be wondering, what the heck is an SQL injection? It's the type of hack that lets attackers mess with a website's database by slipping in malicious code into input fields, stuff like login pages or search bars. Instead of just typing in a username and a password, Ivan and his partner injected specially crafted commands into the system, tricking it into thinking that they were authorized users. Once inside, they were free to access all the sensitive data stored in the back end end. Press releases with confidential financial information, all locked away under embargo. But getting in once wasn't enough. They needed a way to keep coming back for more. So they planted a piece of malicious code, a backdoor that would stay hidden, undetected for years. This allowed them to sneak in and out of the system whenever they pleased, grabbing press releases like it was a cash machine. After gaining access and making sure that the servers were in their pockets, now comes the next move, using the jackpot machine they crafted to generate cash. At first, Ivan and Alexander used the stolen press releases to trade their own money, but the profits were limited. They realized they were wasting a huge opportunity. Their cash wasn't enough to make the kind of money they wanted. They needed to leverage other people's money. And the solution? Build a network of traders. These traders would use the insider information to make their own moves, and in return, Ivan and Alexander would take a 40% cut of the profits. With more traders in the mix, their profits would scale up fast. This was the perfect plan. Ivan and Alexander established a small network of traders in Russia, coordinated by a middleman known as Egg plc. Egg plc was responsible for distributing the stolen press releases via email to the traders and overseeing the network. In return for his services, he received a 10% share of the profits. The traders used this insider information to make profitable trades, benefiting the entire network. Ivan's operation was thriving, and he was making more money than he had ever imagined. As the money rolled in, Ivan started living the luxurious life he had always dreamt of. Inspired by this success, he set his sights on the United States, the heart of the global financial market. He had all the tools he needed, except for one thing, a network of traders on US soil. To fill this gap, Ivan hired a middleman named Pavel to build and manage a trading network in the US. As the demand grew, Ivan realized that just sending emails wasn't enough anymore. So, he set up a private server where they could securely upload and manage the press releases. This server allowed traders to log in with unique credentials, making it harder for anyone to track what they were doing. The server was also designed to grow, handling more traders as Ivan expanded into the US market. It even became an on-demand service where traders could request specific press releases whenever they wanted. This setup was perfect for the traders, who were making a lot of money from this insider information. However, the aggressive growth and some risky moves by the traders would soon start to shake the foundation of Ivan's operation. Early 2011, in the Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, two men sat in the airport lounge, waiting for the third prospect. The two men were Arkady Dyubovoy and Alexander Garkusha. Arkady was a wealthy man from a respected family in Ukraine. He had been introduced to the scheme. He had already made significant profits from their operation. Beside him was Alexander. He was Arkady's partner. Together, they were waiting for the third prospect, Vitaly Kuchevsky. They were eager to pitch Vitaly a lucrative business opportunity, one that had already been generating significant profits. Vitaly was a pastor, a hedge fund manager, and the star of the financial industry in the US. They had Arkady's money and the leaked press releases that nobody could access, but they missed the third and final chain, the expertise, and Vitaly was nothing but a legend in his craft. He was the vice president for Morgan Stanley, and he is the only one capable of turning these resources into a sustainable money printing machine. And today is the day they hoped Vitaly could join them. At first, Vitaly was hesitant. He had been around the financial world long enough to know the risks. This was a massive high-stakes game, and getting involved could have serious consequences. But the more he listened, the more the allure of the opportunity pulled him in. The potential for profits was undeniable, and soon enough, he decided to take the leap. August 3rd, 2011. Wall Street was bullish, expecting positive news. But Ivan and his team knew the truth. Dendrian had failed to meet sales expectations, and when that news went public, it would send the stock crashing. Hours before the official press release, Ivan made his move. He uploaded the leaked press release to the private server. Vitaly took notice and quickly acted on it. Using Arkady's money, he bought 1,100 put options on the stock just 4 minutes before the stock market closed. When the report became public, it was nothing good. The next day, the stock plunged 67%, sending investors into chaos. Vitaly and Arkady made $2.4 million from this single trade. On January 25, 2012, Caterpillar Inc. provided a draft press release to PR Newswire announcing a 36% increase in after-tax profits over the previous year. While the PR Newswire was preparing to launch the press release to the public on the scheduled date, traders in the scheme, on the other side, were studying the press release before anyone else. Then, they used the information to purchase over $8.3 million worth of Caterpillar shares. When the news became public, the stock price surged, and the traders closed their positions, making a $1 million profit in no time. In 2013, a press release of Align Technologies was uploaded to the private server. It claimed that the company's revenue had climbed more than 20%. The traders quickly acted on this inside information, and when the news went public, Alliance stock surged. The group made over $1.4 million in profits from this timely trade. 40% of these profits went to Ivan and his partners. But while these traders were making massive profits and feeling invincible, others were starting to take notice, and soon the entire operation would come to an end. At the SEC's main headquarters, a software engineer was setting up a new, advanced algorithm designed to detect irregular trading patterns that would otherwise go unnoticed. This new system soon uncovered one of the largest hacking schemes in Wall Street history. The algorithm identified a pattern of unusual trades placed just before major press releases were made public, allowing specific traders to make huge profits in unexpected events. The SEC team traced a web of transactions to multiple brokerage accounts, all linked to individuals with the same surname, and some of the accounts were logging in from Ukraine. Despite the mounting evidence, the link to the source remained unknown. The pieces were there, but the puzzle wasn't coming together until an unexpected hit cracked everything wide open. The FBI somehow figured out that MarketWire was being hacked. The FBI informed the company, and MarketWire hired the cybersecurity firm Strauss Friedberg to investigate. They discovered a malicious program in their system that allowed unauthorized access to embargoed press releases. Further investigations matched an IP address used in the hack to the same one accessing the suspicious brokerage accounts, leading straight to Ivan Turchynov in Ukraine. With this crucial piece of evidence, the SEC realized they had identified the hacker behind the massive scheme. Now, with Turchynov's identity uncovered, the authorities were ready to take the next steps. November 2012, a team of FBI, US Secret Service agents, and Ukraine intelligence agents raided Ivan's home, where they found his laptop open with evidence of hundreds of stolen press releases. Ivan was caught and faced potentially decades in prison. He was desperate, but then he remembered something. He was in Ukraine, where the rules were different, and money could sometimes make problems go away. He tried to cut a deal, offering everything he had, his fancy houses, his bank accounts, even his prized collection of gold watches. But the Ukrainian intelligence officers had other plans. They saw Ivan's skills as too valuable to waste. They gave him two choices: work for them on a new insider trading scheme, or they would hand him over directly to the US, where a harsh prison sentence awaited. Faced with this ultimatum, Ivan took the only choice he felt he had. He agreed to join them. Under the watchful eyes of Ukrainian intelligence, Ivan stepped back into the shadows, not as a rogue hacker, but as part of a larger, more dangerous game. After months of surveillance and data gathering, the net finally closed on the key players of the insider trading scheme. The breakthrough came when Vadim, a pivotal hacker in the operation, was caught in an unexpected twist. Vadim had been vacationing in Mexico, enjoying the warm beaches far from the chilly tensions of Ukraine. But his holiday came to an abrupt end just after midnight. As he relaxed in a hotel restaurant, Mexican law enforcement, tipped off by US authorities, approached him. Initially, they informed him that he was being deported back to Ukraine. Little did he know, a trap was set. As his flight touched down in Dallas, Texas, the first passengers to stand were not tourists or businessmen, but US Secret Service agents. Vadim was not heading home. He was now in US custody. The arrest of Vadim was crucial. He possessed extensive knowledge of the operation and the missing links in the investigators' chain of evidence. With him in custody, investigators had what they needed to move against the traders who had profited from this hack. 9 months after Vadim's dramatic arrest, the authorities struck. Early one morning, FBI agents descended on the quiet home of Vitaly Korjevsky, the respected community figure and pastor whose double life was about to be exposed. They arrested him, revealing his role in using stolen information to make millions. In the same time, Arkady Dubovoy was arrested alongside his brother Pavel and his son Igor. Pavel had acted as a middleman in the US, facilitating flow of stolen information to traders, while Igor had been actively trading based on the illicit tips. Vitaly Korchevsky, the respected pastor who turned into a rogue trader, was sentenced to 14 years in prison. Vadim, the key hacker, caught while on vacation in Mexico, received a lighter sentence of 2.5 years due to his cooperation with authorities. Igor Dubovoy, although less centrally involved, avoided a harsher sentence by cooperating with law enforcement and was sentenced to time served. His father, Arkady Dubovoy, who played a crucial role in coordinating the scheme, received a 9-year sentence for his significant involvement. On the other side, the mastermind of the operation, Ivan, is roaming free, and sources say he had most likely escaped to Russia.